Hey guys, welcome back. Okay, it's day 23, y'all. Now, I this stuff is look, ladies, this stuff, NYX, y'all ever heard of that? NYX is butter gloss. I don't wear a whole lot of makeup. Never been my thing, but I do like a glossy lip. Okay, so y'all like my hat? I love Panama. I bought this hat when I first got here. You know what? I've been to the beach I don't know how many times. I have never taken this hat. So I put my beach hat on today. How I look? Let me know in the comments. All right. So today we are talking about the importance of acknowledging and recognizing our own dreams and the importance of not trading our precious time for dollars to help someone else build their dream. Whether it is a public institution or a private institution, you need to burn some incense. I love incense. This is called Lotteria. Money incense, honey. Okay, so building our own, give me 1 second. Because I gotta come around the camera and place my incense in the holder. All right. So building our own income instead of, just earning a paycheck where we're capped at a certain amount of money that we can make every day or every week, whatever the case it is, whatever the case may be. And learning that, we do have the ability to build our own income. And, the question is, okay, whose income are we building? And for most of us, if we're going to be honest, we're not building our own. We're pouring our one and only precious life into building an empire that has somebody else's name on the door and has somebody else's face on the website. That is not a life sentence, though, and I need you to hear that, but it is a choice. And it's one that you can actually start reversing this very week. If we haven't met yet, I'm Z. This is Sit and Speak Your Truth, a channel for the woman in her solo season of life, whatever part of life that might be. Solo season simply means that you're doing life on your own. So whether you're single, divorced, or widowed, you are someone who has spent their entire life working for someone else, and you've woken up and realized that you're done waiting for permission to build a life that is yours and yours alone, and living it on your own terms. So as I always say, let's speak some truth today. So here's the mindset most of us were raised on. And I want to say it plainly without shame because, it ran my own life for years. Find a good job, find a stable job. Be loyal to it, keep your head down, don't make waves, and it will all work out in the end. How many times have we heard that? Security through obedience. I don't know about you, but I've never been one to be too terribly obedient. And for a certain world, in a certain era, maybe that formula genuinely worked. If you're a baby boomer or your parents were baby boomers, yeah, that probably worked very well for them. But this is a new age and a new era. And when you live your life like that, you're simply not being true to yourself. So honestly, I want you to look at where we are now. Actually, fewer than half of U.S. households in 2025 were even married couple households. Let that land, which means more women than ever before are the only plan in the house, the only earner, the only backup, the only one standing between the family and the edge. And yet we are still to this day being handed a script that was written for a completely different world, a world that quietly assumed somebody else was the safety net. But you know what? There is no safety net floating out there coming to save us. You are the plan. You are the whole plan. So the plan itself has to change. The shift I want you to look at this week is the shift from employee to owner. It's a mindset shift. I do not mean that as some cute little slogan on a coffee mug or a motivational poster. I mean it as a completely different relationship to your time and your life. An employee trades hours for a wage that somebody else decided on in advance without consulting with you. You give them an hour. You get a set predetermined amount of money. And the very second you stop giving them hours, that money stops cold. That's the trap. As owners, we build something that pays us for what it becomes over time, whether or not we happen to be actively working on it in that exact moment or not. Same woman, same 24 hours in a day, completely, radically different math on the other end. Let me make this perfectly real with my own story, because I lived on the wrong side of this exact equation. So for a very long time, I spent over a decade in a secure government job. Procurement was my entire world. I had my certifications. I had respect. I had the whole, stable, respectable package that everybody in my life kept telling me to be endlessly grateful for. And I was grateful for it. Absolutely. Very grateful. I've never been an ungrateful individual. My parents did not raise me that way. But I was also every single day building the dream for, state government. One loyal hour at a time underneath a ceiling that I could see plainly, and I could not move no matter what I did. Now, many government employees, if you're watching this, and I'm going to interject right here. If you're watching this, when you're a government employee, you know that depending upon what your job is, the importance of moving around. I had a friend of mine that was an MBE person in state government with me. And I swear to God, every 2 to 2.5 years, she was moving to a different agency. And I asked her one day, I said, why do you keep hopping around? I mean, it's like you get in one place, you sit down for a minute, you get, a little comfortable. And the minute you get too comfortable, you up and bounce. She told me, she said, Z, when they cap our ability to get a raise, which the state does often, they'll say, we're not doing raises. When I first came into government with the state, I was told that they hadn't had a raise in like 5 or 6 years. And I was like, wow. And so she told me, and she reminded me of that. She was like, Z, when you stay in a place, and if you're not getting a promotion within that department, you need to move. She's like, because that's the only way that you're going to increase your hourly rate. That's the only way that you're going to increase your pay is to move. You have to hop around. You come in at one level and you're there, and then you wait for something to open up, right, in your agency. And then when it doesn't open up, you need to move around because you're going to be stuck there for 5 or 6 years without getting any raise. I think they got COLAs, cost of living increases, but no raise. Like in government, we talk about steps. So, you come in at, I don't know, you come in at a 13 and at base, and then you want to get to a 13 in the first step, second step. I think there were 20 steps in government because most people was in government for about 20 years. I don't want to get off where I was going with this, but the whole fact of the matter is that people in government hop around a lot for the simple fact that that's the only way that they could increase their yearly income or their hourly rate, however they're being paid, is to move around often. So every 2 to 2.5, 3 years, oftentimes if people have not gotten a promotion within their agency, they're going to a different agency. And that was real big in procurement. It was real big in MBE, which is what she did. There were certain positions that people would do that a lot. I never even, and when she told me that, I started hopping. So, back to what I was saying, I completely went off the board. Sorry about that. But anyway, so every raise, is somebody else's decision that they're going to either grant or withhold from you. Every hour of my day was accounted for on someone else's terms in someone else's building. And one ordinary day, I just asked myself the question that I want to hand you right now. And that was, whose life am I building here? Because it did not feel like it was mine at all anymore. I was completely over it. And that question is the whole reason why Today, to this day, I share Legacy Builders because it is a system that is done for you. It has more than 60,000 members, and it lets you step directly into the owner's seat without having to build the entire company from scratch. The products and the system are already there. They're already working. When you own it, you own the right to resell it. That's called master resale rights, and keep the full sale around anywhere from $100 to $1,400 a sale. And all of it is yours to keep. You bring ownership energy to 2 focused hours a day. And here's the part that keeps growing over time. Inside this program, you also learn how to build your own digital products from your own hard-won expertise, so that you are eventually, you're not just reselling the product that they give you. You're creating real assets with your own name on the door. That is the ownership in the truest, deepest sense of the word. That is the process. So here is the truth I want you to speak to yourself this week, out loud, in the bathroom mirror, if that's what it takes. I want you to say, I am done building someone else's empire on my one and only life. Say it until it stops sounding dramatic and starts sounding completely obvious. Say it until you actually believe it, because belief is the exact thing that will move those 2 hours from someday, when everything finally comes down, to today, right now, because my life is happening this very minute and I'm not getting these hours back. That is the truth. Because that is the real cost that nobody ever puts on the invoice. It's not the hours. It's the years. It's the decades of pouring your whole self, your best energy, your sharpest years into a dream that was never yours. And then looking up one ordinary afternoon to realize the time is simply, it's gone. You can't get those years back. You can't get that time back that you would have poured into yourself. You can't get those years back that you would have poured into your friends and family, into your children, your grandchildren. You're not getting those years back. They're gone. That's the one thing that should never be for sale. But you absolutely can decide starting this week that the next chapter gets built on your side of the ledger for once, not on someone else's. So why do I keep saying this week specifically? Well, because this week is a line in the sand. You can actually see it. You're in the week, right? Monday is a blur. It's come and gone, right? It just becomes the next Monday and then the next Monday. But when you take a moment and you actually make a determination, it feels like a fresh page. It's enough quiet to sit down, look at your real life honestly, and make one real decision without the whole work week screaming at you. I'm not asking you to build the whole empire by Sunday night. I'm asking you to use this time to cross a line from someday to start it. The building takes time. The deciding, that happens pretty instantaneously. And here's what ownership energy actually looks like day to day. I don't want to say it as some sort of a slogan, but an employee thinks, what do I have to do to not get in trouble? That's what you think. You're constantly thinking every move you make, is this going to cause a problem with me? Is this going to cause a problem for someone else? Am I going to be pulled up? You don't have any freedom. An owner thinks, what can I build? An employee watches the clock. An owner watches the vision. Same 2 hours, completely different posture. You bring that owner's posture to this and something changes in you before the money ever does. You stop asking permission. You start making calls. You start treating 2 hours like they belong to a business, because they do. That mindset shift is the real product. The income just follows it. You set your mind to those 2 hours a day. And what am I going to do in those 2 hours a day? An hour you're going to spend time creating content and posting. Half an hour you're going to look over your comments. You're going to respond to people's comments and inquiries. The other half an hour you spend maybe doing some advertising. 2 hours. focused time, focused energy. You shut everything else out and you just focus on the task at hand, which is building your business. And think for a moment past yourself to what gets left behind. When you build something you own, you're not just changing your own bank account. You're becoming the woman in your family who did what? Who broke the cycle. The one who proved what? It could be done. That is your legacy. That will outlive you. That's a very different thing to leave behind than a lifetime of loyal hours in someone else's building. And owning your time very often means owning your address too. That's why it works for me so beautifully. Choosing to live somewhere that both your money and your peace stretch the absolute furthest. My free relocation checklist is in the description for exactly that kind of ownership over your whole entire life. If you've been thinking about relocating from the States and you want to go somewhere else, link is in the description. Check it out. So if you're ready to stop funding someone else's dream and finally start building something that is genuinely entirely yours, I want you to comment my truth below and let's begin this week. Not Monday. This week. And until next time, I want you to always remember to do what? Keep speaking your truth, right? Be honest with yourself, who you are, what you want, what you bring to the table. Know that you can do this. Know that you were meant for something more. And know that you can have the financial freedom to live life on your own terms. This was day 23, my lovelies. I thank you so much for coming. And if you stuck around this far, love and light to you. Comment my truth below. I'm going to send you the blueprint. And also, let me know what you're thinking, where you are in your journey. Because finances is something that we have to look at over a lifetime. It's important. Solo season. We have to take care of ourselves. No one's going to do it for us. Much love. Until tomorrow for day 24. And I might bring you a new hat. I'm telling you, this hat is doing something. All right, ladies. Talk to you later. Have a great day. Love you much. Bye.